July 14th, 2-minute drill. We're going to kick it off with this. Steve Palazzolo ranked all the wide receiving cores in the league. The question is, who makes the biggest jump from this year's ranking going into next year? Solid.
Yeah, I got to go with the Denver Broncos. They check in at number 10 on our list, which is pretty high considering that Cortland Sutton is the only proven receiver right now with the Denver Broncos wide receiving core. But we believe in KJ Hamler. We believe even more in Jerry Jeudy. So I can see this group rising from number 10 currently to even being a top 5 team when the 2020 season is done. All we need now is for Drew Lock to come through big time.
That's all you need.
That's a big if, right? I'm going to go with the Steelers, and I think a lot of they're ranked 23rd on our rankings. I think a lot of that has to do with last year the quarterback play was terrible, and that hurt the wide receivers. Juju dealt with injuries. I expect him to bounce back. Deontay Johnson's one of the better young route runners in the NFL. And guys like James Washington and Chase Claypool could make an impact. So I think it's a young group that could improve in this season.
Of course. I'm not shocked by either of you two thus far. I have two teams that I debated between. The Kansas City Chiefs are at 6. I think they could be number 1 next year, potentially. But a team that is way too low, that might have one of the best dynamic duos in the NFL after the season is over, is the Cleveland Browns. Talk about a disastrous situation last year. Head coach, get Odell's out there wearing watches on the field. Clearly, they have no idea what they're doing as a team. This year, Kevin Stefanski in there, Baker Mayfield going in his 3rd year. Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry together, to me, that's something that easily becomes a top unit next year.
Yeah, Cleveland, they have improvement written all over them, just about at every position. Now let's go to our number 2 question. How about this? It's raining money in Kansas City because they locked up defensive lineman Chris Jones to an $86 million deal, a 4-year deal. So what does that signing of Chris Jones do long-term for the Kansas City Chiefs?
I think in the short term, it definitely helps them. Chris Jones is a good player, and keeping him, it helps the defense. He's one of the better interior pass rushers in the NFL. You could argue he's second behind Aaron Donald. But I would feel a lot better about the contract if they weren't paying Frank Clark what they are paying him. Now they have a lot of money tied up on the defensive line. Obviously, Mahomes is going to be making more money each season as we go. So it's going to be tough to build around those guys. But for right now, I think it helps their Super Bowl chance.
Yeah, can I subscribe to that analysis somewhere, Ben? The real question,
my Patreon.
The real question is, 2-3 years from now, what does it do to this team? In other words, have they been able to continue drafting really well for their receiving core, right? Tyreek Hill, Nicole Hardman, are they able to keep bringing in fresh faces there? And what does it mean for their offensive line? Because Patrick Mahomes is obviously their biggest investment, but they have the top offensive tackle there, Mitchell Schwartz. They're paying him a really nice contract for them. Travis Kelce's on a really nice deal as well. And Tyrann Mathieu is playing like 3 different positions in coverage. All of those more important than the defensive line. So I would feel way better about it if they had paid Frank Clark. I agree with you, Ben. This raises a lot of questions for what kind of gymnastics they do 2-3 years from now. I hope they don't have to be like the Rams trying to unload assets left and right.
Well, that's exactly what they're going to have to do. This is almost as if their general manager, Brett Veach, was watching the Michael Jordan documentary, right? With Gary Krause. How do you keep the band together? You got to keep this team together to come back and try to win another Super Bowl. I think beyond 2020, where there's a lot of economic uncertainty on the horizon, I think they said, look, let's keep this team together. Let's win it for now. We can always come back and shave money and get rid of some contracts, make some trades. But this was a player who's only entering his 5th season. They certainly wanted to keep him long-term. And I think beyond 2020, there will be other players they'll have to say goodbye to in order to make this work with some of the other contracts that they have.
Chris Jones was not the only guy to sign a contract today. Not quite the same dollar amount for Jason Peters, but he comes back with the Philadelphia Eagles, reportedly to play guard. So how does that improve their offensive line, or does it improve it at all?
I don't know. He's played 1 snap at guard, and it was at left guard on kind of a trick play where they snapped into a weird formation over the last 5 years. So 4,000 plus at left tackle, and all of a sudden you want him to go to right guard. I don't doubt Jason Peters' talent for a second. I do doubt his ability to stay healthy at this point in time, and whether it's just going to be, he's going to actually be okay with going over to right guard. We'll see. I mean, they're asking a lot of Andre Dillard to beat him out over there on the left side. This is a team, though, that has to take chances on the offensive line. They were the best offensive line last year, barely squeaked into the playoffs. Ross Tucker mentioned yesterday they are one of the ones on the decline. So taking a chance here, I think that's the right mentality for the Eagles.
Yeah, this was a move to really keep one of their best offensive linemen, I think, in franchise history, to try to keep him in the fold, right? They know that he has versatility, can play on the tackle position if one of those guys should falter. But this is a tremendous athlete. Jason Peters has always been one of the best athletic tackles in the National Football League. And this is akin to maybe what we've seen with some of the other tackles kicking down inside, like an Andrew Whitworth. And we always would deem Jason Peters to be a better athlete. He's physical, he's powerful, but very athletic, and he knows the players around him, and he knows the scheme. So I don't think this is a huge gamble at all. It gives them greater flexibility if they should need a third tackle on the roster.
Yeah, like you said, I think this was as much about that versatility as it was about guard. Andre Dillard is someone who we thought was a great pass protector coming out of Washington State, but he really struggled there last season, had a high pressure rate allowed. So Peters being able to kick out there if needed and having someone else fill in that guard is a big part of the move.
Thanks for watching the PFF YouTube channel. And if you want to subscribe, all you have to do is push the button. Don't forget everything you get. A little fantasy, push the button. A little green line for the gambling aspects of the game, push the button. College football, push the button. The YouTube channel from PFF.